Hey, welcome to Five Lakes Garage, the home of random projects. We have lists, we have Jeeps, we have trucks, we have food. You name it, we got it. So help out the channel by just hitting that subscribe button. And if you like the video, go ahead and like it. And if you really like the video, like it and then tell a friend. But stay tuned, enjoy yourself. I'm gonna let you go because I got stuff to do. Hey, welcome back to Five Lakes Garage, and today is a special day because it is brought to you by the letter V, because V is for vacation. That's right, we're actually going to go out and enjoy ourselves down at the beach. But before we go, now this trip is about 6 hours away, and what we're going to do today is actually go through the super sexy Honda Odyssey and make sure that she is ready for that trip. She has about 200 and some change thousand miles on it. She is getting a little bit tired, but she's still ready to go. But we want to make sure that we're not going to run into any big issues while we're down there. So anyway, we're going to go through 7 simple things that you need to check on any vehicle before you make a long trip. Real quick, check all your fluids. Also check your tires. So we're going to need some basic tools. We're going to check out our steering component. Also, we want to check our windows, check our lights. And when I say windows, make sure that they're clean. You come over a crest, the sun hits it, fogged right up. It's like having cataracts on your car. Check your battery. You're halfway down the thing. These cars nowadays use a lot of electronics. And you have 3 kids in the back using their electronics. You want to have power just to shut them up. And also, we're going to check our brakes because you got to have brakes. You can have all the power you want out of this super sexy Honda Odyssey, but you got to be able to stop the big girl. She's a big heifer. Anyway, so let's get started real quick. We're going to start with number 1 with checking all of the fluids. All right, we have our super dirty engine compartment. And what's kind of crazy is I've actually cleaned this up a couple of times. It still gets dirty. Go figure. All right, so a couple of main things you want to check. You definitely want to check your engine oil. You want to check your transmission. You want to check your brake fluid, your power steering fluid, and also your radiator fluid. Now, unfortunately, right now, please do not do this while it's hot. You open this up, all that you're going to get a flash boil, and then it's going to go all up into your face. Especially these late model vehicles. I'll say late model is still 2007, but it's still late-ish. They run a lot hotter than the old ones. This engine here will run a lot hotter than the 360 that's in that Wagoneer over there that's been sitting there for almost a year now. Yeah, I haven't got onto that one yet. I'm a slacker. All right, we're going to go ahead and start with the engine oil. Now, I just changed this not too long ago, so it should be still relatively clean. So you're going to pull it out. You're going to make sure it is nice and clean. You're going to stick it back in all the way to the bottom and then pull it back out, and then you can read it. There you go. We are right above or right at the full mark. So we're good to go on the oil. All right, power steering fluid. You're gonna look inside. We're right at the upper level. Now this isn't a hot engine because Steph just got back from a walk with the girls. So it is hot. That is actually pretty good. If this is really, really dirty, you might want to get that changed. I just had to change out the power steering pump. So we're still relatively okay with that. That was about a year or 2 ago, so we should be okay. But keep that flushed out as many times as you can. Also, your brake fluid. Now, most people never change their brake fluid. That's crazy. Moisture will get in there. Debris will get in there. Dirt will get in there. And it will actually erode your lines. So you might want to check it. You want to replace it every few years. Actually, my level is in good shape. More than likely when I get back, I'll probably swap that out. It has been a few years since I've done it. Also, it's not really a fluid, but check your air cleaner. Clean it if you can. It's a K&N filter. Changed it last weekend. We're good to go there. Don't have to worry about it. Now, the transmission fluid. Now, this is an automatic transmission, and what most vehicles want to do is actually have the engine running and put in neutral. And what that's going to do is fill your torque converter up. It's going to fill everything else up. And then you can actually accurately check the level. So let's turn it back up. Let's turn it on and put it in neutral. And then when you turn it on and put it in neutral, make sure your parking brake is on. All right, once again, wipe it off. Make sure she's nice and clean. Right, that's it. All right, now she's in. Now she's out. Let's take a look. Right above the hot mark. It should be okay. It's a little bit more than I want in there, but it should be good. Which I don't know if you can actually see that real close, but you do have 2 dots, at least on the Odyssey, where it says hot. Now if it's cold, it's probably gonna be down here. Hot, it's gonna be up here. You kind of want to have it right around this area where the 2 dots are. All right, so all the major fluids are checked. There are a couple more that I want to go ahead and touch base on. Well, here on the southeast, it is hot. So one thing you really want to do is actually top off your AC gas. Make sure you have the right stuff. Now, this one right here is actually R134. That one's actually being converted to R134. My old one was R12. Yeah, if you got R12, go ahead and convert it. It is really expensive to get R12 again. You might be able to find it in a really old junkyard, but even then, it is a highly regulated industry because R12 is very dangerous to the environment. So it's 134. So what you do is go to the automotive store and pick yourself up a canister. All right, stuff I kind of use is this stuff here. Now this has a gauge that's on it. If you're truly going to do this, you don't want to trust this gauge. It's not the most accurate thing in the world. I don't have any gauges. My buddy Eric, I usually use his, but then he moved to Harnett County and he's not that close. So I'm just going to use this right here. It actually still runs cold, but I just want to check it to make sure it's not getting low. If it's getting low, then I can go ahead and charge it. Basically, there are 2 separate connectors for your AC condenser. Okay, so you're going to have, you got a bigger one, then you have a smaller one. One's high, one's low. Now this one right here should be your high pressure side. All right, so you're going to take your container. Now this is only going to be connected to one side because they are 2 different sizes. They do that on purpose. Now what you got to do is actually start the engine and turn your AC on wide open. So let's do that. All right, let's read it. Ooh. All right, so I put that up there, and actually it was showing right on the line of being concerning. I'm not sure if it's just because it is such a hot day. I think that's one reason why you don't really want to trust these particular gauges. Some of them, they actually have a dial up there for your ambient air temperature. Today, it's still 90 something. There's actually a heat index. Wait, I think I got another one. Hold on. All right, now I just used this gauge, and I told you don't really want to trust these too much. Because this one is not, it's fixed. You can't change anything on it. Now this one here, okay, so if you look at the gauge and you see down here, you got 70, 80, and 90. So if it's 70 degrees outside, you want to have the needle somewhere in those 2 lines. But it is 90 plus today. And as you can see, I'm right in the green, so we're in good shape. So yeah, this one's garbage. So let's we'll go ahead and give him a shout out. Not a sponsor, but it's AC Pro Refrigerant, #1 cooling, coldest air. That's what I used last time. That's what I'm gonna use this time. All right, my AC is running pretty good. Anyway, the last thing you really want to check will be your windshield wiper fluid. In this particular one, you got a reservoir in the back, and you also have a reservoir in the front. So let's go to the next thing. All right, so all your fluids are topped off. The next thing you want to do is actually go to your tires. Now this was definitely a source of contention for a lot of people that come into this shop because I will not let them leave without checking their tire pressure. I believe it's very important. And they don't really care about checking the tire pressure until I tell them they have to touch the 5th tire. Don't forget the 5th tire. Yes, it's a pain in the butt to get to, but if you get a flat, riding down the road, oh look, I got a flat. Let me put my spare on. Hey look, that's flat. What are you doing? You're stuck on the side of the road waiting for a good Samaritan to come help you. Anyway, let me get my tools out and I'll show you everything that we're bringing. All right, so tires. These seem to be pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory, but you gotta pay attention. A couple things you want to look at. Look at your tread. All right, put your fingers in there and make sure you have enough. If you got bald tires, don't go on a long trip. You get one little bit of rain, you're all over the place, and that will endanger your family and others. Don't play around with it. Get some new tires. Also, look at the sidewall right here on the edge. Now, this is a front-wheel drive vehicle, and also every time you make a turn, it's going to eat out the outside. Now, make sure that maybe you need to rotate them. Put these on the back, put those on the front. Use your judgment. These look pretty good. They're not rounded yet, but in time they will round off. Now, also, tire pressure. You're going to use your gauge, right? Take off your dust cap. Now, always make sure you put this back on. You don't want to get dust and dirt in there, or else you won't be able to fill your tire up later. All right, one thing about using a pressure gauge like this one, when you put it on there, don't just jam it on there. The main reason is because this is going to come out, and the faster it comes out, the more it's gonna want to. It's not going to want to stop. You know, it's law of motion. You know? So put it on there slowly. If nothing else, push down on it to make sure it is accurate. Now, this particular tire is at 35 pounds. Kind of want to put a little bit more in there. Now, for your particular vehicle, you can look on the inside of the driver's side door and figure out what the manufacturer would like to put it as. On this particular one, it is about 36. All right, so go to all 5 of your tires and make sure that you check every piece of that. Your tread, your roundness, pressure. Go ahead and make sure that they're all the same. All right, so before you go, on the super sexy Honda Odyssey, the jack and everything like that is in the back. Check your owner's manual to find out where yours is in your vehicle. So what we need is a jack. Make sure that it actually works. In my Dodge, when I first got it, I grabbed a hold of the jack. It wouldn't work because it was rusted shut. And you can't really fix that on the side of the road. So make sure your jack works. Now here's something very interesting. All right, so this is the inside panel. This has my tools on it, right? All right, so we have the tool to jack up the car. So that you take this out, use the hook to put it on the jack, and be able to jack up your car. So you also need a way to pull. You have your this will be your lug nut handle. So you got the handle. You're gonna stick that right on the edge to be able to crank up your car, all right? So here's a problem that I have on my particular vehicle, and this is what is very important to make sure you have everything you need in your toolbox. This right here is my factory lug wrench. These are not factory rims. If you can see, I can't stick that in there. It is not going to fit. Now, if you don't have the correct size lug wrench to fit your lugs, you're still out of luck. You're still stuck on the side of the road. Make sure you have the tools on hand that you can actually get that tire off. Now, so that's why I just have a simple little ratchet with a socket. Now, this particular socket is a thin wall, so I can actually get into the rim. On these particular ones, I do have locking lugs. And the locking lug is to keep somebody from actually stealing my rims, because you need that in order to get the rim off. Make sure you have that in the vehicle. All right, so you got your locking lug. If you look inside, it is a different bolt pattern than all your other lugs. You need to have this in order to get your tire off. Also, I kept all of the original lug nuts that came with this vehicle. And the reason for that is that you only really need 5, because you only have a 5-lug wheel. And what you need these for is for the spare tire, because the lug nuts that are on here does not fit the spare tire. So make sure you have the right lugs. Keep this in the glove box. You only need 5. You don't have to carry the whole box like I do, but keeps them all together. So just carry that with you, all right? One last thing on your tires. What you want to do is actually be able to be self-sufficient when you can. Now, you can go to a gas station and get air. So if you have a puncture, if you have a nail, a screw, or whatever in your tire, If you're able to, you can patch it yourself. Now what you want to use, this is only for temporary. Also make sure you get it to the proper shop to be able to fix it permanently. But this will at least get you going. Trying to find a tire shop at 2 in the morning on the interstate is almost impossible. So you have to be a little bit more self-sufficient. Now you can throw some onboard air in this thing, a little compressor, but you get yourself a little bit of kit. There you go. So if you have a screw in your tire, you pull the screw out with a pair of pliers and you waller it out with this. Now what this is going to do is actually make that hole big enough for your next tool. So you have this, as you can see, there's a hole in the end of it. And what you're going to do is take your, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 plugs in this one kit. I'm going to pull one of those off. I'm going to stick it through halfway, and then I'm going to take this and jam it right into the hole. When you pull it out, because it's not, there's a little slip right here. When you pull that out, your tire is patched most of the time. Go ahead and put some air in it. This will get you going until you can actually get it fixed permanently. Anyway, I'm gonna go all the way around to all 5 tires and check all the pressure and check everything else. So give me a few minutes and then we'll get on with the list. All right, some of the other key essentials you need to bring with you on your trip would be your tools. Always bring a tool bag. You don't have to bring anything real special, simple things, right? First aid kit. You never know. You might get in an accident. You need to patch up some wounds, carry some Band-Aids, some gloves, that type of stuff. Also, if you can grab a hold of a breathing mask for CPR, bring that as well. You never know what you're going to see on the road, and you might need to actually assist someone with CPR to save somebody's life. Could be your own. So anyway, safety first aid kit. Also, emergency kit. All right, this is a very simple one. It's not very huge. All right, so it comes with simple screwdrivers. We have a couple of sockets, nothing huge, just a little bit there. Some electrical tape, tire pressure gauge, and also, very important, a set of jumper cables. Now this also comes with a random fuses. Make sure your fuses match what your vehicles use. This particular kit, that's not gonna fit. This fits on the Wagoneer or even the CJ. You need the small ones for this guy here, so I have a package of those. All right, so in your basic tool bag, you're gonna need wire strippers, just in case, you never know. Also, screwdrivers, Phillips and flathead. Needle nose pliers, always comes in handy. And actually, I love a pair of these. You get yourself a good pair of side cutters, you can do a lot of things with it. You can cut, you can grab, you can crimp, you can do whatever. Awesome set to have. Also, I picked this up at Harbor Freight, and what this is going to do is give you multiple things. Is this going to fix everything? No, but it might help to keep that along with you. Also, don't forget your lug socket or lug wrench. Keep that in there as well. So yes, carry your tool bag. You might never know when you're going to need it. All right, one other thing you need to check, one of these 7 is your battery. Battery is very important. What you want to look for is look at the date that's on it. If it is getting like over 5 years old, you might want to start looking at replacing it so you do not get stranded. Also, don't forget to recycle it when you are done. Now, look at both of the connectors. If they are corroded, nasty, got white chalky stuff on there, get all that stuff scraped off. All right, so if you have a lot of corrosion in the connectors, pull the connector off. You can grab yourself one of these little tools here at any hardware store or automotive store rather. This side right here, you just stick this on top of the battery, twist it down, and that will clean off your connector. This side here is a small brush that you can actually clean off your battery terminals when you got it off. It's a very handy thing to have. I needed one on the Wagoneer one day and didn't have it. Also, you might want to check, grab yourself a multimeter. You're going to have some leads. Yes, these are both red, but hey, I kind of ripped the other one out. Also, make sure that your batteries are live. This one is dead. But what you want to do is actually put it on DC volts, because this is DC. This should only read about 12 to 14 volts on it. So you're going to take your leads, stick it on one side, stick it on the other, read your voltage. If it is below 12 and it should be charged, get rid of the battery. It's no longer good. What you might want to do is actually go to AutoZone, Advance, or any of these other ones. They'll actually bring a machine out and plug it in here to actually put a load on it, and it will test your load. It'll let you know how many cold cracking amps you have left. This particular one has 750. If it's a couple years old, it might not have but maybe 600, but they can tell you. Go ahead and get it checked. There's only a couple more things that we need to check. One is all your lights. Make sure your brake lights work, your turn signals, your running lights, fog lights. In some states, you will get pulled over if your fog light is out. That is a moving violation. You could get ticketed or fined for it. So make sure that all that is actually working. Oh, and also your license plate light. Some states are very particular about their license plate light. Make sure all that works. Grab yourself a buddy, your kid, whatever. Hey, hit the brake. Okay, great. Left turn signal, right turn signal. You get the picture. Have them help you. Go ahead and check them all the way around, not just the front and the back. Also, windows. One thing you might want to check would be clean them. Holy crap, clean them. This thing was disgusting 2 days ago, but I've already cleaned them and we're nice and clean. The other thing will be your windshield wipers. Now, if they are really old, you look at them, they're dry rotted, go ahead and get rid of them. Go ahead and get some new ones. They're not that expensive. So on some vehicles, it'll be the front and the back. Just make sure that they're not dry rotted, they're not split, they're not disgusting. Go ahead and take some Armor All or something like that. Take it, wipe it down. Just clean them off. It would definitely save you a lot when you're actually in the rain, because that's what they're actually used for. Now, you do have some in the front, some in the back. Make sure that they are all good to go. And actually, on some of them, I believe Mercedes have them, and Volvo, they have them on the headlights. We're not that sophisticated. We don't have them on the headlights, so we don't need them. So, a couple of things that you need to check next would be your steering components. Now let's jack up the car real quick, and then we'll at least check those out, at least the basic checks. All right, so we're right back into the same tires we'd had before. So the two things we mostly want to check will be your ball joints and also your tie rod ends. Now the simple way of actually doing that is jack your car up, put some jack stands on her, and make sure that you're nice and safe. You don't want this thing falling on your foot, because you're going to be jerking on this thing. All right, so the ball joints. Ball joints going to be sitting one on top, one on the bottom in most cases. So what you want to do is grab the top of the tire and the bottom of the tire and give it a shimmy. All right, that's nice and tight. We're good to go there. Now, your tie rod ends is actually going to be, it's what steers your vehicle. So it's connected to the rack. You got the inner tie rod, you got the outer tie rod. And normally the outer tie rod will go out first. Sometimes your inner tie rod. Either way, you're going to get it aligned anyway. So you grab a hold of the side and shimmy it back and forth. Now you're going to get a little bit of play in there only because of the rack. There's not any pressure in there or anything like that. So you might get a little bit of play, especially if it's an older vehicle like this one. But I don't feel any crazy play in that. So we're actually in good shape. So the one other thing that you want to check over here while you're here would be your brakes. You want to have good brakes. All right, so when you're checking your pads, see if I can get my camera in there. Focus. Okay, so right down in there, you will see the actual pad. What you really want to have on that is some really good meat on there. You don't want it to be metal on metal or anything like that. If it's starting to squeak, get rid of them. Get some new ones. Also, look at the rotor. Now the rotor is very important as well. If it's all pitted and scraped up and rusted and stuff like that, you can have them refinished or just get some new ones. They're not that expensive. Go ahead and get them done. So there is your rotor. So this one is actually in okay shape. There's a little bit of pitting there. I'm not going to touch it because it's hot. But anyway, make sure that those are nice and clear. Once I actually do a brake job on this one more time, then I'm going to actually go probably power stoppers. I think that's what I have in the rear, slotted, dimpled, all that good stuff, and be able to put some good brakes on this thing once again. All right, so that's pretty much it that I have. It's seven quick little odds and ends that you check before you go. You don't want to be out there stranded. Do some of these simple checks. It takes you about 30 minutes before you leave. Just go ahead and get them done. It's a lot easier to do it in, I wouldn't say an air conditioned shop, but at least a shop with tools. And make sure that you're actually going to take your family out on a very safe journey. Anyway, check out a bunch of other videos. We have one about changing a tire, a bunch of simple little things. Also more aggressive, replacing transmission, and also rebuilding a Dana 300. So check them all out, see what you like. Let me know down in the comments what you like, what you didn't like, what you want to see, what you don't want to see. Ask them if I'm full of crap. I don't really care. I just want to hear from you guys and girls. Helps us all learn together. If I have some wrong information, please let me know, and I'll actually be able to republish it and actually get the right information out. Anyway, take a look at it. Have a safe trip. Get out there and have a vacation. Just be safe. COVID is still there. We're planning on doing a lot of golfing, a lot of beach time, away from everybody else. So, till next time, take it easy, have fun, and we'll see you when we get back. And maybe I got some good stories. All right, later, bye.